Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to Let's Be Blunt with Montel. Today's guest is a former U.S. Navy SEAL. You heard it, a U.S. Navy SEAL who graduated from Stanford University with an MBA. He's the founder of and CEO of Biopharmaceutical research company, BRC, which is based out of Monterey, California. It is the only, I think, one of the only federally compliant specialty cannabis research companies that hold several DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration licenses that allows it to engage in legal cannabis activities federally. BRC imported the first ever legal cannabis containing THC from outside the United States into the United States under DEA permit from the European Union and from Latin America. And they work closely with academic researchers and drug developers around the country to see if they can get the research done that's really needed to have, should have been done for the last 60, 70 years to make sure we have an efficacious product out there to help all of us, but focus mainly on helping our veterans. Thank you so much, Mr. George Hodgin, for being a part of the show today, sir.
Thank you very much, Montel. My pleasure.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about BRC. So, it seems to me, it's crazy that I would have already thought that there were several companies like yours in existence that was doing the research, but it's not that way, is it?
It's not. Since 1961, there's been one farm in the United States that's been licensed to produce federally legal cannabis for academic and biotech research.
And that farm is at the University of Mississippi. And so anybody researching has been forced to use that cannabis grown there to research cannabis.
That's exactly right. It's our belief that the federal cannabis industry is probably the only one in the U.S. that hasn't evolved since the early 60s. And why should the federal government impede or block unleashing American scientists to really understand how cannabis can help the most people in the most profound way in the U.S. So we're focused on helping scientists do just that.
And I just want to just touch on this just briefly, but you were really brought into this industry because of your, feelings and the fact that you had a fellow veteran who was seeking out cannabis but couldn't get the right answers, right?
That's exactly right. So as a former Navy SEAL, I've had countless teammates fall victim to PTSD and opioid addiction for treating their chronic pain. And I, just like 92% of other veterans in this country, think that the federal government should be looking at cannabis as a potential alternative for healthcare treatment for our veterans. And when I got involved in the treatment for my very close friend, his doctor told him, look, there's no way for me to really respond to your questions about cannabis and how to use it because there's not a robust body of research here in the U.S. And I think that's an absolute shame.
Absolute shame. Well, his name is George Hodgin. He's the CEO of Biopharmaceutical research company. Make sure you tune into the full hour edition with George when he schools us on what we all need to do to move this plant into reality of today rather than living in the craziness of the past. Thanks so much, George, for being a part of the show today. Make sure you tune into the next Let's Be Blunt with Montel.